accounting standards about this, which if you want to go to sleep, and even in the afternoon here, I can talk about those and you'll all nap. But literally that accounting standards says as I do an invoice, I have to match costs against it. I look at that like I'm selling a product. If I go and sell a widget, I know a widget costs me X amount. So as I'm selling a piece of a job, I have to work out what do I think that widget component is, and that's what I want to actually match off against it. So if I can actually do that, then my work in progress flows through quite happily. Systems without work in progress is what upsets most people who run job costing systems, because without that, their profit and losses are completely useless and makes people... So many business owners go to me, my mile and QuickBooks, I don't look at the figures, they're rubbish. And the reason is because of work in progress. Because they start a job and bill it 1 month, cost it the next month. And it just gets very hard. Okay, what I'm going to do is now just have a look at a couple of different systems and things, just to give you a bit of a feel for what's out there. First thing is, not all accounting systems have a job costing. I think I'm going to throw my computer through the window soon. Not all accounting systems come with it. There's a significant number of them out there who say they have job costing, but they're actually add-ins by third parties. And if I just have a quick think about this, I go, Attaché, third-party product is PowerLink, sold through that. MyObexo, product from Enterprise is sold as their product. So they've all come in as third-party products. So they're integrated, but they're not fully integrated into the whole system. And they all come through the inventory system. Even SAP have third-party products that integrate the same way. It makes it quite challenging to actually make them all work. Or you actually see lots of people with standalone job costings. The most common standalone is the spreadsheet. Or you go to architects and engineers, they have timesheet systems which they use, and they've created in Access or created in spreadsheets to do all their timesheets. That is their job costing system that flows it all through. But if we now just start looking at what is out there in the market, the first one is in the micro area or the cloud area where you've got Xero and Sasu. Realistically, they don't have any job costing systems at this stage. There's a couple of third-party add-ons that go with Xero and Sasu, but their products at the moment is general ledger, debtors, creditors. So if you're expecting them to do any real job costing, in the small SME space under $5,000 is really MyOb and QuickBooks. They do, as I showed you earlier, allow you to cost on every line of every debtors and creditors invoice what job it goes to. So you can get expense details. They don't do any work in progress type claims at this stage. If we start moving through to the SME, what I've called SME growing area, where you've grown out of MyOb and QuickBooks, you start to see a few. You start to see a few in this market. Attaché 7 or Attaché Business Partner has the link to PowerLink. Arrow has a job costing in there. Business Manager and Cyber's Vision are essentially the same product. It's the same developer, but he's moved camp. And he has some job costing in there. Jiwa has a job costing, but I think they admit it themselves. It was there just to tick the box. It doesn't. They've got really good product control and warehousing, but job costing is extra. You've got EXO, which has really got the Enterprise one, and then Triumph. What I was going to do is just jump in today and give you a bit of a feel for the sort of things. I'm going to use Triumph as an example to give you an example of what's in a job costing system. So if we just charge in here now and have a look at doing some job costing. First thing I do with a job is do an estimate, do a BOM, do a takeoff, decide what do I need to put into a job. And I'm going to cheat here and pull up an existing job and say, look, let's have a look at the details. And I want to go to a lot. So I want to go to this job and say I'm building, or what am I building? I'm building an exhibition trailer. So literally I want to build something. To build something, what do I need? I need some labour. So who's going to do the work? So I can say one of the boys is going to do the work. He's going to do some loading. He's going to do 30 hours of that. It's going to cost me $35 and I'll charge it out for $55. I need to subcontract out some stuff for the truck hire or truck driving. I'm going to cost that in there. I need to buy some materials in, so I'm going to get some materials in for our job. I'm also going to then do some overheads where I might have some other costs coming in for telephones, etc. So all of these costs build up. So you're building up all of the components that make up a job, literally as we talked about. My labour, someone else's labour, my materials, someone else's materials, any other overhead. What this then gives us is what should we be charging out to the client? What's our cost? I actually want to charge I don't want to charge $65,000, I'm going to charge $70,000, and it'll cost the whole system for me, coming up with what I'm going to make. I can then accept that, send a quote to the customer, send a worksheet out for the instructions for people to do it, send out a request to my suppliers to supply things in for it. I won't print any of that, but I will take that order and convert it over to an order now. As I've converted that over to an order now, if I look into my jobbing area, I now have a budget. So I've created this job which I can now measure against. So you keep talking about people and KPIs and things like that. You've actually now got a budget of what's going to cost me. If I'm looking at these jobs, it starts to give me information about groupings, categories, the address of the jobs, the contacts that are on a job, ideas of margins, so you can start setting up margins on jobs. You can have parent-children jobs, all the documents and drawings and pictures that go with a job, and then the ability to break it down into different budgeted sections. I'm just sort of going to show you one quick more thing in here, just to give you a bit of an idea. If I'm doing a job, I can go in here and actually then have all of the items that are going to come up on a job that I need to order. So I just process that order. We've now taken that job all the way through, ordered all the parts and started to build up costs for it. So you can now start to see your committed costs. And then as you start to put timesheets through and all the other costing components that start to come through, and if I have a quick look in here, timesheet entry can come through. The power of the sort of systems, you can do things from clock cards in a warehouse, you can have people on the web putting in their timesheets, all of that sort of stuff comes into a timesheet. You can have your creditors' invoices of purchasing coming through, requisitions of parts from the storeroom, even seen point-of-sale worlds where people can have a point-of-sale screen in their store. Or you'll have a situation where it is a trade counter. You can buy stuff over the trade counter, but you can actually also job it, cost it at the same time.